Getting her done. Hey, good morning. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm here at the lodge in San Francisco, California. So the lighting's a little bit different, a little bit off today. I'll be back there when we're doing our session. But today we are gonna just do some mobility. And it's a good reminder that you can do anything, anywhere. So I can see myself today. I think I've got some really good Wi-Fi. Like I said, lighting's a little bit off, but I'll be back over here. So what you're gonna need today is, hopefully you have one of these, a stick. If you don't have a stick, foam roller works great, okay? So let me just give I think I kind of like where I'm at, view-wise. You can see me, we can work together. I think we're in good shape. So let's start with a little bit of foam roller. I'm gonna move you just a little bit, so pan out just so you can see a little bit better. Here we go. Okay. So, probably should have done a front lighting instead of back lighting. Okay, let's get the foam roller. Hopefully you had a great weekend. First thing we're gonna do with the foam roller is just move it across, lateral, and anterior of the lower leg. So we're gonna drag it up and down. Just like that. We're gonna go lateral to these peroneals as well. We're just trying to create a little bit of heat in that lower leg, because it's amazing that when you activate the front side of the lower leg, the calf will actually start to naturally lengthen. That's a concept we get pretty deep into with a lot of the ECFIT work. So dragging the foam roller, anterior, lateral, lower leg. I got a little raspy voice going today from the race yesterday. Okay, after we do that, let's take the foam roller. Probably still a little early. Our official start time on Mondays is usually 5:45. So hopefully we're just kind of close and that's working for you. Okay, so foam roller right below the belly of the calf muscle. And we're rolling it side to side, external rotation when the toes are facing out, internal rotation when the toes are facing in. So we're just kind of windshield wipering the lower leg. Windshield wiper the lower leg, and switch to the other side. Windshield wiper. Internal rotation, external rotation. Just roll it. A little bit of pressure right under the calf muscle. Work your way down just a little bit. Not too much muscle going on in there. It's mostly connective tissue and just tendon. A little bit of posterior tib. And then my massage therapist and I were having a little chat the other day. We're like, what else is in there? There's one more in there. Flexor hallucis longus. Wow, all the way up there. Okay. So your big toe actually initiates. The function of the big toe initiates up in the lower leg. Interesting. All right. This time, staying with the lower leg, adding the weight of the left leg. Just add a little more load to that. We're going to go mostly lateral. So now turn your toe a little bit to the outside and let's foam roll all the way up today. So we're staying out of the belly of the calf muscle, but we're heading all the way up those. They used to call them peroneals, now they call them the fibularis because they support that fibula that shock absorption in the lower leg. So think about that. If you have lower leg issues, if you have Achilles tendon issues, perhaps you have a fibularis issue. Perhaps your shock absorbing system in your lower part of your leg isn't working as well as it should. And that's typically because the lower leg gets dehydrated, the tissue gets sticky, and then it doesn't function well. So if you find a spot, remove the load a little bit, and let's floss through that spot. So if you start finding that you're getting a little bit of stickiness or pinny pain is different than achy pain, right? That's kind of a thing. Achy pain, pinny pain. If you get achy pain, it just might be that that muscle needs more time to recover. If you get pinny pain, it might be that there's some adhesions in there that we need to work out. So I want to take your thumb and go all the way up into your top part. This is the attachment of that fibula. The attachment, the fibular head. And if you've been training, that fibular head's going to be spicy. It's going to be a little bit pinny, right? So just right there, working through that with the thumbs, because a foam roller really can't get in there. And if it's pinny, and if it's spicy, it's painful, you're going to help yourself by releasing this fibular head, because it's a shock absorber. So every single step you take, and if you're running fast, that's a lot of steps, and those are a lot of shock absorber. And if you're not shock absorbing here, you're going to start shock absorbing throughout your whole body, because you're going to shock absorb, right, if you're producing. All right, so we got the fibular heads going. The ankles are moving a little bit. We're going to do just a little bit of half kneeling work now. So let's go on to, this is a full kneeling position. This is a half kneeling position. And if you look at the position of my knees, this is called a 90-90 half kneeling position. I want you to tuck your big toe under in the back, okay? So from right there, and I'll keep that side view going. From right there, we're gonna keep the upper body nice and vertical. Don't lean back, just stay vertical. We're just gonna add a little bit of load to that anterior hip capsule. Now, if you have a torn labrum, or if you have a deep hip issue, do not push as hard as the rest of us who don't have those issues. Don't push that hard into that lead leg, or that trail leg. What you want to do is add gentle tension. So torn labrum or known hip issue, let's just decrease the intensity just a little bit so that we can just learn to work with what we're given, what we have, okay? So if you don't have a torn labrum, you have a healthy hip, let's go for a little bit more tension in there. Just nice and easy. It's 5:45 here in San Francisco. I live in Boulder, for those of you that don't know me. And yeah, I'm just out here supporting a bunch of my athletes who did the Escape from Alcatraz yesterday. We had a good day. We had an overall female win with Emma Pallant-Brown. Super proud of Emma. Emma and I are kind of a new relationship. She's been doing a lot of my online stuff with her handsome husband, Jared. But for the most part, had an age group win in the 60 to 64 with my assistant coach and good friend, Kate Lidler. And just super, super happy. My partner, Melissa, came 6th in her age group. Again, super stoked. It was a beautiful day out there. Okay, gentle hips. Good. Big toe tucked under in the back. Now, we're gonna lay flat, face up. We're gonna work some breathing. So the hips are starting to get warmed up. Just by that position in my back foot, started moving that ankle a little bit into that harder dorsiflexion and release the lower leg. That's kind of where we've been. All right, so laying down onto your back, I want you to put your knees together, your toes together, and your heels apart. Okay, good. All right, knees together, toes together, heels apart about 3 inches. This is anchoring, okay? So you're gonna hear me use that a lot on these Monday sessions. Set your anchor. That means you're putting your knees together, toes together, heels apart. Your knees are about 8 to 10 inches off the ground. And from right there, head is on the ground. We're going to take your fingertips, put them all together, and reach over your head. But keep your hands about 6 inches off the ground. From right here, guys, I want you to take a big inhale. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Float your hands all the way back over your heart. From right there, I want you to really think as you exhale about knitting your stomach together. Do not let your ribs get closer to your hips, okay? We're trying to create space. We're trying to decompress the spine. So if you can even pull your ribs just by walking your shoulders away, go ahead and do that. Fingertips together, reach overhead. Big breaths in through your nose, expand your ribcage. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I want you to reach your fingertips as far away from your pubic bone as you can. Create as much space between your fingertips and your pubic bone. Pull your toes back towards your shins. Now squeeze your knees and set that anchor nice and strong. Breathe into that. 5 big breaths. Here we go. Two more big breaths. And one more. Float your hands all the way back over your heart. We're going to take the right knee and pull it into the chest. Keep the head back on the ground. Keep your chin back. And from right here, not pulling, not yanking on your leg, I want you to push your head into the ground. Activate all those deep neck muscles. Push the head back hard. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the head. Okay, so you're pushing your head. Even my old faithfuls who have been with me for over a year, we've never really done this. So hold your left knee nice and strong. Push your head back into the ground. Had a couple people out there with some broken ribs and whatnot, so we want to make sure that that head is really set strong and active on top of the upper spine, the thoracic spine. And release the head, release the knee. Okay, so quick little check-in, lots of measuring sticks. We want you to take your hand and see if you can slide it under your low back. What I want you to do is put your left hand on your belly, your right hand behind your back. Knees are up. Let's internally rotate the toes. So let's set an anchor, even though the knees are nice and strong. And pull the belly button strong into the spine. Push into your right hand, which is under your lumbar spine. Breathe into that. One more big breath. Good. Okay, let's take the right hand, put it right on the stomach, left hand underneath the low back. Squeeze the knees, toes are internally rotated. Here we go. Push. Good. And what that's doing is starting to put your spine into a neutral position. So we'll go back to that 90-90 position, and with the light behind me, you should be able to see this. I'll tuck my shorts in my shirt in really quick. And from this position, when you have this big lordotic curve, you want to be able to get out of it and get into neutral. So now, a nice flat back, 90-90 position, tuck the big toe under, and from right there, let's just gently knee drive with the right knee. 2, 3, reach up. You want to create space through this whole side body. 5, 6, 7, one more, and 8. Good. Same thing other side. Kind of feel like I'm in the White House or something with these big leather chairs. Okay, tuck your big toe under. Make sure that your neutral pelvis, you can see the waistband of my shorts is nice and parallel to the ground. Nice big breath. Arm up straight, creating space through the ribs and the hips, right here. Space. Nice little knee drive. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Keep the big toe tucked under. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this weekend in Montreal, you might have been watching some of the triathlon, and one of my athletes was actually, it was 3 races in a row, and she did her hip openers between the races, just to ensure that she was resetting between every single race. So super proud to see Taylor doing her work in between and knowing how to do the things that help her get better. Okay, so now we're in a full kneeling position. We've got a nice neutral pelvis. We've got good active ankles. We're going to drop the hips to the back just a little bit. Create a spine angle of just under 45 degrees. So that'd be 45. Let's come up just a little bit. From right there, put your thumbs on your bottom rib, pinkies on the hip bone, and we're just going to breathe into that. Push your head back into the floor, even though it's not on the floor. Okay? Strong head position from right there. Let's take 5 deep breaths. As you exhale, keep all the space. And then bring your hips back under you. So as you do that, you start to recognize that what we were doing on the floor, we can now bring into kind of a full kneeling position, into a loaded position, understanding that gravity is working differently on our body, and can we continue to maintain all of the integrity. So if you're in this full kneeling position, you see my feet kind of peeking out at the outside, that's going to put my hips into internal rotation. So let's get your feet now just outside of your knees. If some is good, more isn't better, just do it a little bit. We're now into internal rotation of the hips. Drop the hips to the back. From right here, guys, keep your hands in your measuring sticks. Thumbs on the bottom rib, pinkies on the hip bones, and I want you to activate, fire the muscles on the inner thighs. If you have a torn labrum, this is something we're really going to go after. We want to strengthen and activate all of the inner thigh. Okay, so from right there, nice strong measuring sticks, maintain the space, lots of space for your organs, for your psoas, for your obliques. Let's enhance that a little bit by adding the weight of the arms out in front of the forehead. If you can't handle the forehead, just put it right in front of your chin. And let's anchor in for 3 breath cycles. Ready? In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. Anchoring strong. And bring your hips underneath of you. And we're going to go back into this nice half kneeling position. And from here, I want you to grab your foam roller. Okay? Tuck your big toe under in the back. We're at 90-90. We're starting to add the upper body action. And from right here, all we're going to do is just start to really open up the chest. Throw the arms a little bit back. Don't arch your spine. That's different than getting a nice stretch through the biceps. I can start to feel there's some tightness in the biceps. I can start to feel there's tightness in the chest. So from right here, we're going into that nice, big ankle dorsiflexion on that front knee, front ankle. Nice big thoracic spine reach, getting tall. Reaching as high as I can, long as I can. Good. Other side. Okay, we're going to go 5 each side. Tuck the big toe under in the back. Remember, if you've got that hip issue or a rib issue, just decrease your movement bubble just a little bit. Arms up nice and strong. And you can start to see that this lead ankle is starting to get more and more motion in it, right? All in conjunction with the lats. 3, One more. And 5. Nice big side bend. I'm coming at you straight on now. We're gonna get a big reach to the side, and we want to do this little hip shift. As you do that, just want to give you the side view to see we're not straight up doing a hip shift. That's going to get that TFL. I want you to just push your hips back just a little bit and just gently mobilize into the lateral aspect of the hip. So take a nice big breath, flex forward just a little bit, and then go ahead and hip shift. If the right leg is down, we're gently back with the hip and lateral, posterior and lateral, posterior, lateral. Let's go 2 more of those. 1, you might feel a little gentle tug, Karen Meadows, on the low back when you do that. Don't go for a giant stretch. Just recognize what's happening and feel it, and start to recognize that when I go posterior, lateral, and shift, I've got a little tightness in my right hip, but I don't have that tightness in my left hip. Interesting. Well, I actually do now. 3, 4, keep going. Posterior, lateral, 5, 6. 6 is good. All right. So now we're going to add the weight of the arm. Anytime we add a counterbalance, you start to get more glute activation. So now we've opened up the anterior capsule of the hip. We're starting to work on a little bit more activation. We've already worked a little bit of anchoring, so we know that our adductors are active, and we're starting to get that glute working a little bit. So we've got the right hip down, right knee down, toe tucked under, nice big breath. Right arm scoops to the front. Push the hips back, come right back under it. Scoop from the bottom, palm is up, 2. You're gonna start getting this other side, this left side hamstring stretch, 3, 4. We'll go 1 more, push the hip back, arm to the front, and 5. Okay, same thing, other side. Now the left knee's down, right knee is up. Push the hips to the back. We've got lots of space, toes tucked under, and just reach. 1, reach. 2, head stays in that nice, strong, activated position. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, good. Now we're gonna work just a little bit of rotation through the upper spine. And we're just gonna build this stacked, beautiful mobility through the body here on Monday. So right knee's down. We're gonna throw like we're throwing a bucket of water over the left shoulder. If you have a longer foam roller, no big deal. It'll still work amazing, right? So from right here, toes tucked under, nice big space, hips are open, glutes are starting to get activated. We gotta move through the upper back a little bit. So from right there, hip to the front, throw the shoulder over the back. Throw that water over your shoulder. 2, now we're gonna move a little bit quicker on this one. We got 10 reps, here we go. 1, 2, 3, just nice reach across the body. 4, 5, 6, a little bit less tension on the hip. 9, if you've got something going on there. 10, good. So if you're not following how emphatically I'm saying that, if you have a hip issue, stay behind the baby gate with those hips, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, hip drop. 3, knee drive. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let's take that to a standing position. Good job, guys. All right. So from here, let's go into a little bit of a wider stance. And instead of turning the toes in, let's go ahead and turn the toes out. So the heels are out just a little bit. Fingertips, nice and strong claw-like position. And we're just gonna drop into a squat. All 10 fingertips to the ground. 2, and I want your reach, want your touch when you go down to be out in front of you, right here. So don't touch straight down here. Reach your hands out in front of you. 3, hips to the back, hands to the front. 4, body weight squat. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So my day yesterday, I'm gonna take a little breather. My day yesterday was all about supporting people at the Escape from Alcatraz Triathlon. So my body today is kind of dealing with the outcome of being a fan. If you raced a race or had a big training weekend, these tightness throughout your body, you're gonna feel it. Take note of it, work through it, keep mobilizing throughout the day so that you can keep getting better and releasing the restrictions in the body. Then everything gets easier, okay? So we're not gonna use the foam roller, but you can if you need to. So we're gonna go into that same body weight squat. Looks a little bit like a gorilla. And this next one is from foundation training, and it's called a gorilla lift. So I do this stuff a lot. So I'm actually able to get into that position very, very comfortably. My hips are open, they're super mobile, and I'm not that tired because I was a fan yesterday, not a training. I didn't race. So racing and training hard creates tightness. So don't compare yourself to me, compare yourself to you, and take into account everything that you've done. So if this position looks a little bit more like this for you, and you can't get your hips down and your head above your hips, let's go ahead and use a prop. So you can use your foam roller, you can use a yoga block, you can use a stool, you can use a table, you can use a chair. You're getting my drift, right? So I'm gonna do the gorilla lift from the ground today because I'm feeling pretty good. So from right here, take a nice big breath, push your hips to the back, drop down, hands to the front, chin back, chest up. We're gonna reach that right arm up as high as we can, our left arm, and then the right arm. Left arm, thumb up. Left arm, 2, push your hips back. Weight should be on your heels here. 3, 4, 5, 6, push your hips back. 7, 8, 9, one more, and 10. From right there, put your hands onto your knees, push yourself out of that. I'm gonna do this second set of gorilla lifts facing you so that you can see that I'm not way out here with my lift. I'm right here. I'm kind of in my shoulder a little bit. That's where I'm doing those lifts from. So we're getting a nice length here. We're getting activation through the upper back. And we're just starting to feel, it's kind of hot in here too. They have the heat turned up. So it's kind of like hot yoga. All right, so knees can flare out a little bit just so that we can get into that nice squat. Hands reaching out in front. Here we go, gorilla lift. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the hips up. Don't drop your hips below your knees. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. From that position, that finishing position, let's put the hand onto the knee. Oh, look, it's starting to wake up here at the hotel. They give me a little front light. So that's a good thing. Okay, so from here, I just want to say, live from San Francisco, might be a little bit of a shorter session today. Hopefully you got some good mobility. If you want to go deeper today, go into a launch session. One of the launch videos will definitely give you a little bit of light to moderate loading to help enhance mobility, movement, and activation. So thanks for coming today. I'm getting better at these YouTubes. I hope you'll keep showing. Click subscribe and definitely hit the little bell, but I'm here every single Monday morning, okay? Hope you're all doing well, as usual. Thank you. I'll be back in Boulder later today, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.